Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Search Podcast. I'm Elliot Manning. This week, I've got Dan Dawson joining me from HRS. Dan has been in recruitment for a long time, 20 years, I think it is, Dan. But I think you'll be best to introduce yourself to everyone listening, who you are, what you do, where you're at, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Elliot. Yeah. My name's Dan Dawson, as you said. Been in recruitment for probably, way too long now, I guess. 20 plus years, predominantly in technology. So started my career in Bristol, worked for a few businesses in Bristol in perm contingent recruitment. And made my life and family and generally my recruitment career in Bristol. Wasn't until last year, really, when COVID hit, lockdown hit, a lot of challenges. The business I worked for at the time decided to look at sort of rationalising that business and reducing it down in headcount. And so unfortunately, I was one of many that was made redundant. And I guess at that time, it kind of gave me a good few months to sort of think about what it was that I wanted to do longer term. Bristol, although Bristol's a lovely city, it is actually quite a small place. So we decided that options were going to be limited. We had family that lived in London. And then I got talking to Ricky Martin, who I've known for coming up to 4 years now. I met at an Elite Leaders event, a networking event that John O'Sullivan runs up here in London. And Ricky and I just got sort of chatting, and it was fortuitous timing. Where his office in Loughton is close to where my family live, or my wife's family. So we decided that we would take the plunge and relocate. So we moved lock, stock and barrel up to London. Never buy and sell houses in a pandemic. It's never the most straightforward of things.
I can imagine.
So we bought and sold. I came up here in the August and joined HRS August last year. Cool. My family was still living in Bristol because we hadn't been able to sell the house quick enough. So I was here in the week and then back home at weekends with the kids. And then eventually we managed to get everybody up and we moved into our house here in Essex in November of this year. So brilliant. We've been here ever since and transitioning from technology to life sciences.
Yeah, we'll come into that, definitely. I'm keen to know, so over the years of being predominantly in technology recruitment, and if we kind of rewind back to 2008 recession, having worked in recruitment then, to then I suppose working in 2020 global pandemic, what was more challenging for you?
So I think in '08 there was still a lot happening in technology. There was still plenty of projects. There was still a strong retail business that needed e-com and needed the support of tech to drive its projects forward. So technology felt in 2008 almost recession-proof, and we continued on. Yes, there were slowdowns, but there was still enough business for tech recruiters to carry on and push on through what was a really challenging time for lots of other sectors. If you fast forward to 2020, retail was going backwards at a rate of knots anyway, so lots of tech projects had slowed down across that piece. The business I worked for had a retail recruitment element to it, and that had pretty much slowed up by that point. 2020 was, I still remember January, February time, people saying everything will be all right. There's an epidemic in a country many, many miles away. It won't touch us. It'll be fine. Having a conversation on a Monday, early March time, to then a day later, right, we're all working from home, and that massive transition very, very quickly from what was in the office to now being at home. And then very quickly realizing that this is going to go on for quite some time. And businesses then having to make some really quick negative fiscal decisions, perhaps, around what is it that we're going to do next. So 08, didn't scratch the surface really for me. And business.
Fine, good.
And 2020, yes, what are we going to do now? This looks like it's going to hurt. And for me personally, certainly reevaluating. what it was that I wanted to do longer term, I guess, really.
I mean, this goes on to a question of, I mean, obviously you started a little bit kind of later down the line of 2020 to the role that you're in now.
Yeah.
How did you transition into the remote flexible working management style that you probably or potentially hadn't been used to over the years of, you know, being in recruitment as much as you have been more so now? Did you have to take any, I mean, I don't know the answers such you can tell me, but was like any courses you had to take? Did you have to go to loads of seminars, webinars, learning, or did you just kind of, you know, I suppose, figure it out as you went?
Well, I guess I've been quite lucky over the years. The role that I had when I was working back with Reed Technology was managing multiple offices remotely. So there's always been that in the background for me personally, where I've had to manage people through phone or lack of contact. So there was some experience there anyway. But I think, I think like many, we've become comfortable dealing with Zoom and Teams and spending an inordinate amount of time on both. And using that tool as a way to ensure that we're touching base with people perhaps as regularly as we would have done maybe in an office. So I think, previous experiences have helped, and remote managing people previously has definitely helped me personally. I certainly didn't lean on any courses this time round. I think it's been, because I've been new to the business, I've had to spend a lot of time getting to know people anyway. So I guess I've afforded more time to try and do that via Teams and Zoom, I guess.
Brilliant. That's the first time I've had anyone on here that's kind of had the exposure and the experience previously to be able to kind of manage and get through, you know, a remote setup as much as what you've just mentioned. How did you, from those listening in that are looking to get into kind of a management function, or currently in it that are managing and working from a remote aspect, you know, what do you find the most challenging, about it? Is there something that you've really tried to come to terms with that it's, you know, you're, you know, can't get over, or is it something that you find easy?
No, I think for me, it's, you want to make sure, it's trying to get the balance between calling and talking to people too much versus leaving them on their own for too long, and trying to find, as I say, that balance between what's right and what's overkill. I think is, you can only really work out by having the conversations with people and just really trying to empathize and understand where they are as individuals. But I think, for me personally, it's getting that balance right between micromanaging and pestering, or leaving people on their own for too long. So I've always tried to, you know, set the week up and talk to people early part of the week, and then diarise a few calls in towards the latter stage to see how the week's gone. But let people get on with it. And I think that's difficult to do when everybody's feeling the pressure of course, having to try and hit numbers remotely.
No, understood. And I agree with you as well. The difference of working in technology recruitment, which was your whole past and background, to switch over to the life science, you know, space. How was that for you?
It's an ongoing challenge.
Yes, of course.
What I wanted to do when I got here was almost go back to sort of my resourcing days when I really first started in recruitment and start working on vacancies. So I have actually resourced myself since I've been here at HRS. I've made placements for some of our permanent clients. And that was something that both Ricky and I agreed early on was something that would be of benefit to me, to understand our market, to understand our clients, to understand the nuances of the different types of life science vacancies that we recruit for. So it's like going back to school. It's been a breath of fresh air in some ways. I've enjoyed getting to grips with a new sector, and it's certainly reinvigorated my interest and passion for recruitment. I've enjoyed that candidate contact again. It'd been, I'm not going to lie, it'd been a good few years since I'd actually worked a vacancy, and I'm sure some of my old colleagues, when they perhaps watch this, will chuckle to themselves. But no, I've enjoyed it, and I think it's been invaluable trying to understand the market. It is extremely helpful to be working alongside somebody like Ricky, who's been in life sciences for as long as he has.
Yeah, of course.
And I can certainly, I'm able to dip into his experience and ask questions regularly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still recruiting. I'm still resourcing today.
I love that. Yeah.
My afternoon will be, I have a vacancy that we have that I want to get involved in. Well, I've taken ownership of. So this afternoon I'll be on LinkedIn Recruiter. I'm trying back to it, trying to find people.
No, I love that, Dan. And do you know what? I've haven't done rhetoric for a long time, spoken to a lot of managers, directors, really senior people that are looking to transition into other areas. The one thing they've never mentioned, and something, they should take some advice from you, is if they're looking to change over to markets, but they've got all of the background or foundation around management and leadership, but again, potentially looking for like a tech, from a tech market to finance or life sciences, whatever it may well be, go back to basics and get back on the tools and resource and learn the market from, top to bottom to understand exactly what you're managing and what the recruiters that are dealing with on a day-to-day are doing, so that you can relate a lot more. A lot of people, unfortunately, in the management world, in some cases, I suppose, actually, I'll take that back. Not everybody. They think that management is management. Doesn't matter. Recruitment's recruitment. But, there's a difference between how you've done it and gone about it to most others, which I absolutely love and think that is, exceptional. And anyone coming into work under your guidance, having looked at your background, you could probably outbill them and know exactly what to do to help them and guide them. And there's so many elements there, which is, very positive.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Look, I mean, it was important to me personally, and certainly for us to be able to demonstrate to the rest of the business that we
fantastic
all take an active part in trying to find new people for life sciences and change lives by hiring the right kind of people.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Fine. So moving on to where you are now, what's the plans with the business? What's going on over there?
Sure.
We've been working with you guys a while. I see a lot of development, a lot of, fun activities. I follow Ricky on social media. So I see everything that goes on in the office and the games and, the culture looks phenomenal. What where are you guys at? What's happening?
Yeah. So I think for us, as you will know, as we keep pestering you, we are looking for people right now. We are looking to expand all of our teams currently across both perm and contract. Loughton will be and will continue to be the hub of the business. We obviously have other offices elsewhere, but predominantly Loughton will be the hub for us. We are going on a journey, I guess, and that sounds a bit twee, I know, but I certainly think for the next 3 years, the plan is to double in headcount and push on from where we are currently to get closer to that 100 headcount figure over the next 3 years. We will be moving into Europe this year, so we're looking to sort of develop our European offering. And we're looking for people to come and join us on that journey. We've started taking talent acquisition more seriously now, so we have hired our own talent acquisition manager, which I think will help us with that. We're still going to partner with R2Rs because we know that we need the support of people like yourselves to find us that experience. But I think, it's an exciting time to join. We're well positioned in the marketplace. The brand is strong. I think Hyper is well known in that life sciences market space that we can really push on and develop that over the next few years.
What do you guys look for in your recruiters? And, for those listening in that are in recruitment, it's not like they have to come into your business with life sciences experience and have that added value, which obviously, is a big bonus because they can leverage off of their existing knowledge and market. But ultimately, there's other areas that you guys are quite open to, right?
Yeah, massively. I mean, well, look, as we've just touched on, my background is tech, and I think that lends itself well to life sciences just because there is a strong level of verticalization across our desks, but also having that understanding of how tech fits together. So certainly technology is one area. I think professional services lends itself well to life sciences. We've hired people from accountancy and finance. We've hired people from risk and governance. That I think there are lots of different markets. We aren't solely focused on trying to find life sciences recruiters for our life sciences business. I think, yes, that would be lovely, but we're also very realistic that those kind of people don't grow on trees at the moment.
No.
And so we're looking for people that want to come and join. Yes, what is a fun business, and Ricky does make it that, it is fun, that want to come with us on what will be an exciting next development within the business. And there will be opportunity for people across all avenues of that. You know, we are, some of the managers that we have that have joined us 4 or 5 years ago, joined us as graduates. So they've come through and they've now running their own team. So again, we'll take people from different sectors when we recognize that there's strengths. And then we develop them into strong billers that hopefully have that career longevity that can then move into more senior positions.
So those coming in, say you get a recruiter, for example, that's got a couple of years in tech, you know, for example, do they go back to basics like, you know, you have done yourself? Is there an external trainer that comes in? Is it more of a case of hands-on management training? How do you develop them into where they need to get to in your market?
Yeah, sure. So we've grown, historically, we've grown organically through graduate recruitment and we've taken people with a science degree and have then skilled them up in becoming solid level recruiters. So just over 65% of our business holds a science degree. So there's a great deal of knowledge in the business already in terms of science. So we lean quite heavily on that. We also utilize 2 or 3 different external training programs to support and underpin people's learning as they go through their journey with us. So different avenues, So manager support, graduate knowledge in the business, external trainers that support and give additional knowledge to people as they journey through with us. But nothing beats picking up the phone and talking to a candidate and asking them about their skills and experience and learning that way as well. So I think we advocate all of those.
Okay. And are you guys set up in office at the moment? How have you guys adapted to the new ways of working? I think that's kind of my final real question to you is, you know, how do you see the market changing, whether it's for you guys or just in general with your experience over the next 12 months?
Sure. So we've been, as you can imagine, being a life sciences business, we're acutely aware of COVID and the impacts it has. So we've been very sensitive to returning back into the office. We are now back. We're on a rotation, so not all of the teams are in at any one stage. We're lucky enough that the office in Loughton is big enough that we can socially distance and do that well. But currently we are operating a 3 and 2, so 3 days in, 2 days home. There's still a lot of discussion at the moment as to whether or not it will remain 3-2 or whether we will go back to a 4-1. I certainly can't see us being back in the office 5 days a week.
No, of course,
I think there's a balance to be struck between 3 and 2 and 4 and 1.
Sure.
We're a sales office. We work better when we're together. And I think that's something that we're acutely aware of. But I think we are lucky we have all of the systems in place and all of the tech that we can support people working from home and do that from day one. So in answer to your question, currently 3-2. Okay. We'll see where we are in a couple of months' time.
Bit like everybody's trying to just figure out what they want and do and how it's going to work for them moving forward.
Completely.
Big topic based on literally something you just mentioned. Big topic I've seen recently and something that I've been, going through a lot with a lot of business owners and business directors is, do you think that it's easy to train and develop talent working remotely or better in office?
So that's a really interesting question, and it's something that a lot of people are talking about at the moment. I think I was on an elite leaders call last week, and some of the conversation was with people working remotely. You have their attention completely, and you have a direct line into them permanently almost. So that training and that one-on-one time is very, very much focused around just talking to the individual. So, and you can set tasks and there is no distraction, so they can just get on and get the job done. So I think being at home definitely helps, and being remote will help with that early stage. But again, nothing beats being in an office and celebrating success together,
of course,
and that camaraderie that comes with people working in teams. And I still think sales is a team sport.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, nothing's better than celebrating that deal with others, or being motivated by others around you. So I think, if I could sit on the fence, I'd say it's a blend.
Yeah.
And I think that's we're definitely seeing benefit from people being at home and having that one-on-one action or interaction. Sorry, but I think, yeah, being in an office, I don't think there's anything that beats that.
No, it's a tough one. And I in my opinion, I think that, the development side of things can be easily managed remotely and, as you said, be more direct, whereas nothing beats a good culture, learning off of the people around you, enjoying the successes with people around you, even the defeats of people around you. Nothing beats that. And again, having seen this with, tons of recruitment companies recently, I think their answer's the same as, same as yours. But Dan, I really, really appreciate everything you've gone through with me. It's been great to get to know you. It's been great to get to know the business more. I think this has definitely opened up a lot of, this will open up a lot of doors in terms of recruiters that are trying to understand how they can get into life sciences, but having looked at your background and how you've managed to achieve and develop, your success in the business is going to be quite new to them, which I'll be sharing and pushing out a lot more of it. But look, if anyone's got any questions that's listening to this, please reach out to Dan directly. I'll be putting his contact details with all the content posted out for this podcast. If you've got any other questions, let me know, and I'll redirect that over to to the guys at HRS. And if there's anything else, I'll do the best I can to help. But Dan, other than that, I appreciate your time.
Brilliant, thank you.
I'm sure we'll speak very soon.
Lovely. Appreciate your time. Thanks, Elliot.
No problem. You take care.
Take care. Cheers now.